began to choose myself. The refrigerator door creaked open. I remember that sound clearly, because it came just before the scream. A sharp, terrified scream that echoed through the small kitchen and cut straight through the quiet of the house. But that scream did not come from me. It came from her. Greetings, dear listeners. Before I begin my story, a story of betrayal, of survival, and of the day I finally chose myself, I ask you for one small favor. Please support this channel. Subscribe, press the like button, and share this story with someone who might need it. And if you feel comfortable, tell me in the comments which city or country you are listening from. It always warms my spirit to know how far our voices travel. Now, let me take you back to the night everything changed. The front door had slammed shut hours earlier. My daughter had left without looking back, her beach bag swinging over her shoulder, her phone already in her hand. She hadn't asked if I was okay. She hadn't asked if I had eaten. She hadn't even said goodbye. She had my social security check in her purse, and she knew exactly what she was doing. I stood in the hallway long after she left, staring at the door like it might open again if I waited long enough. The house felt hollow, too quiet, the kind of quiet that presses against your chest until breathing feels like work. I went to the kitchen and opened the refrigerator. Empty. No leftovers, no milk, no bread. Not even an apple rolling forgotten in a drawer. Just cold air and the hum of a machine doing its job, while my own child had abandoned me without a second thought. That night, I went to bed hungry. Not just hungry for food, but hungry for dignity. You see, this wasn't the first time my daughter had taken from me, but it was the first time she had taken everything. For years, I told myself excuses. She's young. She's stressed. She'll pay me back. She's still finding herself. I told myself these lies because the truth was too painful to swallow. The child I raised no longer saw me as a mother, only as a resource. I had worked my entire life. I had sacrificed my health, my dreams, my friendships, all to give her a better future. And when the checks finally came, when I finally needed help myself, she saw an opportunity, not a responsibility. She was gone for 3 days. 3 days of hunger, 3 days of silence, 3 days of realizing how alone I truly was. On the 4th day, the door opened. Laughter filled the hallway. Sunlight spilled in behind her. Her skin was bronzed, her hair smelled like salt and shampoo from a hotel I could never afford. She didn't say hello, she went straight to the refrigerator. That's when she screamed, because inside, sitting neatly on the middle shelf, was a single container, and inside that container was nothing but cold, hard truth. I had done it deliberately. With the little strength I had left, I had emptied the fridge and placed that container front and center. No food, no note, no explanation. Just absence. Just like the absence she had left me with. She turned slowly, her face pale, her voice shaking. "Mom, what is this?" I looked at her, and for the first time in years, I didn't apologize. "I ate," I said quietly, "and then I stopped waiting for you." Her mouth opened, then closed again. She was confused, not because she cared, but because something had changed. I was no longer begging. That was the moment she realized she had lost control. And that was the moment I realized something even more important. I didn't need her permission to exist. She accused me of being dramatic, of overreacting, of making a big deal out of nothing. But hunger is never nothing. Abandonment is never nothing. And betrayal, especially from your own child, cuts deeper than any wound. That night, I slept peacefully for the first time in years, because for the first time, I chose myself.
She didn't speak to me for 2 days after that. She moved around the house like a stranger, slamming cabinets, tapping aggressively on her phone, sighing loudly whenever I entered the room. It was a performance, one I had seen many times before. In the past, I would have rushed to fix it. I would have apologized. I would have explained myself until my voice broke. This time, I stayed quiet. Not because I was weak, but because I was finally strong enough to stop chasing her approval. On the third morning, she sat across from me at the kitchen table. Her tone was calm, too calm, the kind of calm people use when they are about to manipulate you. "You embarrassed me," she said. "You made me look like a bad person." I looked at her carefully then, really looked. The daughter I once rocked to sleep, the child I protected from every storm, now staring at me with calculation instead of concern. "I didn't make you look like anything," I replied softly. "I just stopped covering for you." Her eyes narrowed. "That money was for both of us," she said. "I needed a break." I nodded. "And I needed to eat." The silence that followed was heavy. She wasn't used to this version of me, the one who didn't bend, the one who didn't soften the truth to protect her feelings. That afternoon, I did something I had been afraid to do for years. I went to the bank. I changed the account. I secured my check. I asked questions without apologizing for needing answers. My hands shook the entire time, but I did it anyway. Because courage doesn't mean you aren't afraid. It means you move forward even while your heart is pounding. When I came home, she was waiting. She knew. She could sense the shift. "You went behind my back," she accused. I smiled sadly. "No," I said. "I finally stepped out from in front of you." She yelled, she cried, she blamed me for her stress, her failures, her loneliness. And for the first time, I didn't absorb it. I let her words fall to the floor where they belonged. That night, she packed a bag. She stood at the door, waiting for me to stop her. I didn't. And that was the hardest part. Because loving someone doesn't mean destroying yourself to keep them close. The door closed, and this time, I didn't feel empty. I felt free. The weeks that followed were quiet, but not lonely. I learned how to cook simple meals again. I sat in the sunlight by the window. I listened to music I hadn't played in years. I reintroduced myself to the woman I had abandoned trying to save someone else. And slowly, strength returned. Here's the lesson I learned, and I share it for anyone listening who might need to hear it. Being a parent does not mean being a sacrifice forever. Love does not require starvation of body or soul. And choosing yourself is not selfish, it is survival. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. If you are listening to this and you feel used, ignored, or taken for granted, please know this. It is never too late to choose yourself. It is never wrong to protect your dignity. And you are allowed to walk away, even from those you love. Thank you for listening. And remember, you matter.